Music is the answer. Sweet music is the way. Gospel, jazz, R&B touches you every day. Talk about how it moves you differently day to day. It's the R&B Bistro, where the music have its way.
Hello and welcome to the R&B Bistro Up Close and Personal. I'm your host, Venus, here to take you through this musical dance we call life. And to do that, you know I bring in some prominent people in the community to help us make it through. Today, I'm so excited. Oh my goodness, I can hardly contain myself. Let me read to you what I have. My guests today are helping us continue the Bistro features of the voices of our community. They are New York Times best-selling novelists. With 7 novels to their credit, the last one published in 2010, they have been best friends for, I believe, over 35 years. That's some friendship, okay? They met while they were models at that competition there at the Ford Modeling Agency. They are proof that sisterhood is powerful, real friends can be business partners, and extremely successful. I want to welcome Virginia DeBerry and Donna Grant to the R&B Bistro. Ladies.
Hey,
Happy
Venus.
to
Look
be
at
here.
you. Happy to be here.
Yes. Oh my God, you guys are so beautiful. It's like they model, so I'm just sitting here staring at them. Oh my God. Anyway, we're going to get to
Yeah,
that.
that was a lifetime ago.
I don't care. You know, as somebody said to me, once you were on such and such a station, that goes down in history. You always, hello?
Okay.
So
Yes.
you've been models. A lot of people
Yes.
can't say that. All right?
Okay.
It was never something
All right.
either of us thought we'd say
Okay,
either.
keep that title. Wear it well. Thank you so much for being here. Can we get up close and personal?
Absolutely.
All right, then. So now I want to go back to, I want to start, I'm going to back up. You were a teacher.
I was.
Wonderful job. Thankless, but wonderful.
I taught high school English for 10 years.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord is right.
Okay, I grew up with them English teachers. Anyway, but you left that to model?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of crazy, isn't it?
No, I like it.
And nobody in my life told me that this was an insane thing to do. But I left teaching and moved to New York City at the age of 32 to pursue a career as a fat model.
You started modeling at 32?
What I have jumped off whatever the bridge is and landed okay.
I'm like,
And
in
a
an
friend-
area that was not that
It was-
easy to do
it
because they
was-
didn't want to see people that
it
were
was-
over size zero.
It was a brand
minus.
new field, and I had a friend that I went to high school with who worked for Wilhelmina. And I was visiting her, and she said, "There's this brand new thing called plus size modeling. I think you'd be great for it." And I said, "You know how old I am. We're the same age. Nobody starts modeling over 30." And she said, "Don't tell them how old you are."
Yeah, because you can't tell. I didn't believe what you told me today.
And so I didn't. And I did an ad for Gitano. I was supposed to be a 16-year-old, and I'm there with my little ponytail on the top. You remember Gitano jeans?
Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
okay.
No,
Yes,
I
I
don't.
did.
We're putting a break on you.
So-
Donna, now you did it for 2 years, right?
I did it for 2 years.
You did it for 10 years. What were you doing before that?
I was in advertising at the Daily News.
Okay, that's the easier kind of.
Well, no, it didn't make any sense to me.
Really?
It was some of my coworkers who dared me to. They heard about this new thing called plus size modeling, and they said you would be perfect at it. And I said, y'all have been sniffing the glue again. Stop it. And so they bet me lunch that I wouldn't go down to this agency.
$2? What was lunch?
I said, fine.
Back in those days, probably.
I figured this is going to be a good story for me
And
to
it'd
tell
be a
you
free
while I go.
And do it and be successful.
No, it never occurred to me that that was going to be the outcome. But I figured I'd have a good story to tell.
Y'all are funny.
And the agent said, I really believe you could work. We need to get some pictures on you. I was working within about a week and a half. My first booking was for Ebony.
Okay, I grew up with the wrong friend.
Ta-da! So I bought lunch, and the long answer was I ended up leaving the news and
Well, why you buy lunch? The bet was you were going to be successful. They buy the lunch, no?
No. The bet was that I wouldn't go.
Oh, okay.
And so I went,
so you had
and
to buy
I
the lunch.
was successful. So I bought the lunch, which was okay.
Now hold on. So in those pictures, is that both of you?
Yes.
Is this one you and this one you?
That I'm.
Yes.
This is you.
I'm on the right.
She is,
Right.
On that side.
She's
I'm,
fur
Virginia's in the
attitude.
fur.
I'm in the
and
fur.
you're in the suit.
And she's
Yes.
in the suit.
I got it right because I had to go back and forth with. I saw several pictures, and I had to go back and forth. You look so much alike. So I'm like, wait a minute, which one is who? Okay,
And we were
I said,
always
forget it.
in-
This one I think is the difference.
We were always direct competition
Yeah.
for each other.
That's what I was getting to.
We
Right.
were never booked
Yeah.
on the same
Not
gig.
ever.
There was going to be one black model in
Either one of y'all.
One of
Right.
us.
So thank you for bringing up that question that I wanted. So how did two people that are in competition, women, come on, and black women, and in competition, and y'all become best friends?
Because the booking never had to do with us. The client was going to book whoever they chose. It didn't have to do with us. So we realized we had a lot in common.
And clients change their mind all the time. You know, that she would be chosen and I wouldn't was just okay. Well, the next
That's part
time
of the deal.
that's just the way the game is played, and it could have been anybody else. It just happened to be her, and we just found that we had so many things in common. We had both been English majors in college, and we had read the same books, and we liked the same movies, and this friendship just developed. And honestly, we think that her coworkers daring her and my best friend from high school encouraging me to do this was so that we would meet.
Yeah, that was
That was God's divine
Exactly.
order. That's what that was.
because really we could have met earlier. I was in college with both her brother and sister, and didn't really know that until later
After,
on, and we
yeah.
started talking about the years. It's like, oh,
Wow. Wow.
Isn't life
It's
amazing?
Yes, but you know,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
God is just awesome. So what made you both stop modeling?
For me was impatience. I had been, like I said, a school teacher for 10 years. I had been the person in charge, telling people what to do and when to do it, and, the teacher. And as a model, you are definitely not in charge of anything.
Not in charge of nothing.
And I was on a booking for Essence magazine one day, and there were 7 people touching me at the same time. There was somebody in my hair and somebody trying an earring and different shoe, and I just wanted to scream because I didn't like the outfit they were putting together. I didn't.
On top of that, I didn't like the outfit.
I just didn't want to be there, and I
Right.
thought, okay, you need to step away before you develop a reputation for being a
Something
what.
on there.
And it's like,
Don't work with her.
And this is prior to Naomi Campbell's tantrums and phone throwing and all of that. And that could have become me,
Wow.
except I thought I just need to step away
back,
because
back.
I have no say in this, and I'm not good when I don't have any say.
I know that's right. I feel like I'm looking in the mirror.
So I quit and became an agent.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
so then she was my agent, so we still weren't supposed to get along. Having said that, it actually worked out quite well for me because you have some control over your time. I can book out when I was a model if that is
Right.
what I need to do.
Yeah.
Something
And
else.
for our audience,
so
book out means I don't want to do this. I'm going to do something else.
Right.
I don't want to go to work today. I'm done.
Right. But it gave me a chance to do and think about some of the things that I did want to do.
Right.
And that was the point at which we started thinking about,
What else could we
What
do?
else
'Cause
did
in
we
the,
do?
in the time that I was an agent, I also started being a spokesperson for Hanes Hosiery, and I would commentate fashion shows in department stores all over the country. Every spring and every fall, I would be on the tour, and at some point, we realized that pantyhose in and of themselves aren't really very interesting, but if you pair it with fashion. Then you can say, I've got on my little dots today.
like
If you
the
know, if you can do that. And so I proposed to Hanes that they do a fashion newsletter to be in the hosiery department that could be handed out at the seasonal fashion shows, and it could tie in the trends of the season and the hosiery and blah, blah, blah. And they thought it was a great idea. And I asked Donna if she wanted to work on it with me.
So that started the writing career.
well, that's
together.
the point at which we realized that we think inside each other's heads.
Right.
If you asked us to weed through, edit a stack of photos, we would edit down to the same 2. If it was very fluid in terms of how we would decide what topics we were going to cover that quarter or whatever. It was just great fun, and we got a lot of work done.
Wow, I can't believe it. So now you've written 7 books.
Yes.
We're gonna come back to when the 8th one's coming out, if the 8th one's coming out. But we're 7 books, New York Times bestsellers. Are all of them New York Times bestsellers, or just
no.
the Sleeping in the Bed?
And actually, it wasn't
I guess
trying
I
to.
should finish that name.
It wasn't trying to sleep in the bed. It was
Okay.
Far from the Tree. It was the
Okay.
book
It
that
was
came
Far from
out
the Tree?
that came out after
After
that.
it.
Yes.
But Sleeping in the Bed is older, right?
It's older
Right, yeah.
and actually sold way more
More.
copies than anything else, like 1 million books. But it
That also
somehow,
speaks to how
how they
bestseller lists are
yes,
constructed.
how they work that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna leave that one alone for a minute. So, how do you write together? Do you write,
Like we are sitting here.
you sit together like this and write?
Yes.
In front of the computer, together, side by side.
These are the sides.
And do you know what the other's thinking when you're writing?
Yeah, pretty much.
We've plotted thoroughly. We plot, and that's some of the best
Do you talk
fun.
about it before you write?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We
Okay.
have plotted through the whole
And
book.
storyboarded the book.
Right.
Okay.
And we have talked about the characters a great deal.
Okay.
What this person is, what they like to do, what they eat for breakfast, whatever.
Do you do that over lunch or a midnight call
There are
or
often
dinner or what?
All of
beverages
that.
and food
all of
involved.
that. All of those things. All of those things.
I love it.
All of those things.
But
And
so
then-
when we sit down to write, we know where we're going. We always say that there are 2 of us who need to drive, so we need a map. Everybody needs to know where you're going. And we literally, computer, monitor, keyboard. One of us will have the keyboard and is typing, the other one's looking, and then it's like,
oh. And then the
Okay.
keyboard slides over and that's how
Cool.
we do
So
it.
it's not like you're writing a chapter and then you're writing
No,
a chapter.
no.
You're actually
And-
totally doing it
Together.
together.
And at the end of a book, we don't know who wrote what. When we-
especially when it comes in galleys. When you get
I
that
know.
first galley,
and you
and
look
it's
at
in
it, and
print,
it's like,
who did that?
Who did that
where
part?
did this come from? But it's like when we get together, we become the author. We say we are the author of our books. It's one voice. And editors and publishers have said, they'll be able to
Pick
figure
it
out
out.
who wrote what. Nobody can because we
y'all
don't
can't
know.
even do it.
No.
We don't know.
Yeah.
So wait now, who comes up with the story?
We
The
both
original idea.
We sit and talk. There's a lot of talking
Talking
involved.
to one person.
A lot of talking.
A lot of talking involved. And we work, because a lot of times our original notes don't look anything
Like
like,
what
the
comes
way,
out.
but you just keep talking and you figure out why that would work better than this or whatever. But there's a lot of talking, which is a really good excuse to hang out
Yes,
together.
and yes, sometimes it starts with a character. Sometimes it starts with an idea, a set of circumstances, and and people's names change and their jobs change, and what's going to happen to them changes. But we talk and we talk and we talk and we talk until the story starts to gel, and then once we feel like there's got some weight to it, then we actually start to plot what's going to happen, and. So there's no, and we don't even know who's the first one of us who said, "You want to try writing a book together?" Because that's pretty insane.
Neither one of us will own up to being that crazy. Be that as it may, it all works.
But it has worked beautifully, and yes, we still love each other. We still hang out together.
I can see that. You still love each other.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my
great.
goodness! It's like you're really sisters from different mothers. It's just,
Exactly.
Yep.
the same people. Oh my goodness! So you're on a trip, or you're on vacation, and this idea comes in your head, and you go, "We should write a book about it." And you tell her, or you call her and say, "I know you're on vacation, but you thought of this, and let's do. Is it that in tune?"
Well, we have communicated while we were on separate vacations about, but what if this happens? And it's like, oh, well, yeah, because the flow of ideas, it is a flow, and it doesn't really stop until the book is done.
Yeah, if it's really in both of our heads at any time, particularly when we're working. So whoever comes up with whatever, we communicate it to the other. There's a lot of communication. There just is, and that is how that works.
And on those rare occasions where we have seen something slightly differently, I won't even say disagreed, but we've seen it differently, we talk and we talk and we talk and we talk, and the right answer presents itself. It becomes clear, and the right choice is always what's best for the story. It has nothing to do with my ego. You got to check your ego at the door. Nothing to do with what. Well, you got it last time. It's like, no, it's what will make this the best book possible. And once that is focused on, the right answer becomes clear.
So how do you pick the title of the book, and how do you decide what the cover is? Where do you get those ideas from?
Well, the cover is a publishing decision. They will show it to us, but at this point in our careers, we've not had an absolute say-so over whether.
So you mean to tell me you give them the manuscript, and then they look at it and they go, "Oh, this is what the cover's going to be"? Really?
Yes.
They give it to artists who read the book, and then they do renderings, and they narrow it down, and it's like the cover of Far From the Tree was based on the description of the house in the book. And the house in the book that this family goes back to in North Carolina is actually based on the house I was born in North Carolina.
Oh, nice. I think we have a picture of some of the covers. If I can see that picture of some of the covers, I want to ask about that.
Oh, who are those people?
And that's in this book.
Right.
That house is actually the house that my grandfather built. So when we got the artist's rendering of the cover, it's like, okay, this is really close, but why don't we just send her photographs of what the actual house looked like?
And it was really interesting that she got that close
But
based on the
just
description
based on the
from
description.
the book.
Wow.
But it was so close to the real house that we then sent her snapshots of what the real house actually looked like, and then it became the cover.
So
of the
do
book.
they pick the titles too, or do you give
No,
them the titles?
we do the titles.
Titles are fun because it's really challenging to come up with 5 words that speak to what your whole book
Or
is
one
about.
word,
Or whatever,
Yeah.
And Trying to Sleep in the Bed You Made was a very untraditional title. It's long for a title, but we went through pages and pages of ideas, except that one kept coming to the top. And we showed it to our agent and we showed it to our editor, and they decided that, that really fits, so that's how that got named. But naming is fun.
And what doesn't kill you is a popular saying.
Absolutely. Well, and
Sure, but it doesn't kill
try
you.
to sleep in the bed you made. Everybody
Yeah,
is warned.
yeah.
Make your bed, you're going to have to lie in it.
Right.
And no matter, we've heard from people all over the world, that phrase exists in other languages.
Yeah, because that's not the thought I thought of it. I thought if you do that, you're going to have to lie in that bed.
You're gonna
mess that up.
That's what you're gonna.
That's what I grew up with.
And yes, and that's what that book is about. You make choices, you make decisions. You're going to have to live with the consequences of these decisions. But they all are based on, better than I know. Your friends know each other better than they know themselves.
Yeah, that's true. Now, Uptown seemed like it's some steamy stuff, almost like what's happening on these these little reality shows about real estate and people being upset about this one wanting to do this with the real estate and that one having a part. There's a show on TV like that right now.
It was very current, and what happens to the people who have been living there their entire lives. And there's also part of that story that's got its Me Too situation that has affected particularly one of the characters' lives in a way that she's not even really aware of.
Now, Exposures, that was a while ago and you're bringing it back. Did I hear that right?
That was the very first book that we wrote together. It came out in 1990. It was a test to see if we could actually write a
Do
book
this
and
together.
somebody would publish it. And we got a literary agent who sold it in 2 weeks to Warner Books. And then it went out of print. It was printed in Russian and Spanish and English, and then it went out of print. And back in those days, there were no digital rights that were assigned. So we got all of our rights back to the book and then released it with our own cover. Those are actually Donna's eyes.
I know. I picked that out. I said,
Did you
this
know?
is cool. These are her eyes, which are beautiful, by the
Donna's
way.
eyes. And yet Exposures is about a fashion photographer.
Yes, I like it. I like it. So let me go into publishing for a minute. So you guys said you guys work with the top publishing houses, correct?
Yes.
we have.
How do you feel about self-publishing and all that's going on now with self-publishing?
It's a reality. Media is no longer controlled by the media companies. Everything is far more accessible. It used to be that there were vanity presses, and you could get any book published for $500 and you could give it out to your friends, whatever.
Wow.
But now you can reach audiences of people. The publishers are looking at the self-pubbed books, and they figure out, well, if this has got enough traction, then let's offer
Then
them
we'll
a
pick it up.
contract. Yeah.
Do you think that a book is for lack of a better way to say it, people feel better about it if it was published, self-published or versus? Do you think it's not valid if it's self-published versus?
I think that used to be a thought.
But not
I
anymore.
think it is less so. But self-publishing has affected the whole publishing industry in a way that they were not prepared for.
Right.
And they didn't think about how the digitization of film and music changed those industries.
Right.
Publishing thought that they would remain as they were. So they were
top
kind
dog.
of caught off guard
Yeah.
when all of this self-publishing stuff started. And they found themselves trying to play catch up. And as a result of that, there was a shift in their business model. And they began acquiring books that were self-published that had sold reasonably well, whether they were well written or not, whether they were well edited or not.
Now they have an editor that edits stuff, right?
And sometimes they didn't.
Sometimes-
No, not self-publishing, the actual publishing.
Actual publishers
Yes.
do, yes, but they would pick up self-published books.
And
And
they
then
didn't
republish
re-
them and don't edit them?
No.
Correct.
Oh, no, terrible. Let me go to something else because I don't want to run out of time. How do you feel about, I've been seeing a lot of trends where there are people calling themselves published authors and they have a chapter in a book with 20 other people.
You know, anthologies have always been around. And that's basically what
that is.
That is. And so, yes, you've authored a piece in an anthology, and that's the way some people begin, whether it's short stories or whether it's nonfiction.
And that's still good and legit and it's okay if you start that way.
It's okay if you start wherever it is you start.
I like that.
Was I an author when I had a piece published in the newspaper when I was 17? Was I a published author? I wouldn't have called myself that.
But isn't it though?
But I don't know.
Okay.
I don't
But listen, people that are
know.
writing up on blogs and things now, I'm sure they think that they're published authors.
Well, and the thing that was difficult is that publishers tried to retrofit what authors were doing. You know, there was a period where there was a lot of sexual content in books, and they were selling really well. So we then get this message, you know, can you make your books more sexual, more lively, and can
Really?
you make them more urban?
Can we put a little bit more violence in
Yeah,
it?
and it was like,
It's
is
like,
that
no,
why
that's-
anybody
that's-
ever bought our books
That's
before?
not
Wow.
what
No.
we
So we're not gonna conform to
do.
that. We're gonna be
not,
who we
we're
are.
not
Right.
doing that. Well, you know, when we wrote Trying to Sleep in the Bed You Made, we were the only black authors in our publishing house, and we were not in a category called black books. We
urban.
were or urban. We were in with fiction.
Right.
By the time our third book came out, every publishing house had an imprint set aside for black stuff.
Black stuff.
And they gave it a name, and they gave it put somebody in charge of it, and they put all of the books in that place. And then when that sort of slowed down, they just closed off the imprints and went on. So the industry has done a lot of trying to catch up and adapting and targeting. You know, it's like that this is your audience. Our first book was read by people all over the world.
And that's what you want. You don't want to be pigeonholed
All
into
over the world.
this
And there was
one
no
thing.
section in Barnes and Noble where you would walk in and we would be alphabetical in fiction. We'd
In
be on the
fiction.
front table when the book was new.
Right.
Not over in the section with, we called them the booty thug books. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the next question. So, give me three things really quickly. I want to get the personality mix in here, but give me three things that someone who wants to be a successful writing team, like you guys, because I think you guys are phenomenal just the way you do it. Three things that they can do if they want to be a writing team as successful as you are.
They have to find the yin to their yang, or they have to find somebody with whom they can work and express themselves freely. Now, everybody's not going to do it the way that we do. They're not going to all sit down in front of the typewriter together. But they have to find what formula works for them, whether it is that you write this chapter and I respond to it by writing that. Whatever
you
that
find the yin to
formula
your yang and the
yeah,
formula.
find
Number
the formula
two.
that works
Give
for
me
you.
two.
And you need somebody who is willing to work as hard as you are.
Right.
You
I like that.
you've
Definitely.
got to be equally yoked here. This
Bringing scripture all in this. Give me three. Give me three.
3 would be you have to be able to take the criticism that's given by the other person. You have to be able to, you're not always going to be right. You have to be able to have that exchange of ideas and understand that it's not personal or anything else.
All right. Real quickly, what is your secret passion?
Cooking. Jazz.
It's like a movie. Where's your happy place?
Out in the woods someplace, paddling a canoe or looking at dawn, or I love being outdoors. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, but I love being out in nature.
Because I was sitting here trying to figure out where was all of that in Brooklyn. What you were saying there? Go ahead. Where's your happy place?
Sitting next to my honey with a bottle of wine.
Oh.
Woo, woo, woo.
Woo, woo, woo.
All right.
Listening to some great music.
And it ain't jazz.
It's jazz.
Is that? If your life was set to music, because you know I say life is a musical dance. If your life was set to music, what genre would it be other than jazz?
I don't know. I think there's been something very operatic about my life.
Okay.
I think there have been some really big highs and some lows and some of that real dramatic, powerful stuff that's set to. And my mother was a trained opera singer, so I grew up listening to that. So I think that there's something operatic about life.
All right.
How's that?
Donna, awesome.
There would be some acoustic guitars involved of all genres. I love classical guitar music. So that kind of passion and mellowness and all of that comes out in the context of a classical guitar.
Awesome. Can we expect anything coming out soon?
No.
Okay.
I'm still working.
Are you in agreement with that?
Well, I'm still working because
Okay.
I'm not done yet.
Okay. So her mind will change to your mind because that's just how it works.
Well, no,
Well, we are not currently working on
Together.
a new novel.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
That's what I will
All right.
say.
Okay. How can our viewers stay connected to you? Please tell them.
DeBerryandGrant.com, both of our names spelled out, and we are on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. The website is great. Our email is there. You could email us at DeBerryandGrant@gmail.com, and we try to answer. We started answering mail when it was snail mail.
Email them and tell them that we need them. Okay, ladies, thank you so much for being here. Will
Thank you
come
for
back
having
again?
us.
Thank you. Absolutely.
By all means. I know, with another novel. Okay.
Break it here.
Or maybe a movie about one of the.
And that'll work.
Yes, yes, a movie. I can act.
Okay.
I can act really good.
We'll talk.
I want to be in the movie. Okay. This has been the R&B Bistro Up Close and Personal with Venus. Make sure you tell somebody about the Bistro. Come on back and see who we chat with again. And remember, it's never too late to live your dreams. Never too late. And when you do, I'll be there encouraging you. Take care. I'll see you next time on the R&B Bistro Up Close and Personal.
Music is the answer. Sweet music is the way. Gospel, jazz, R&B touches you every day. Talk about how it moves you differently day to day. It's the R&B Bistro.